Hey, Wiggum, I've never read to you, so I'm going to read you at least a little bit of Charlotte's Web. Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that, buddy? He wants what's in the bag. He wants what's in the bag. Get my camera here. What? What? Okay, Wiggum. Charlotte's Web. Charlotte's Web, buddy. Let's see. It's freezing out. I can't. My fingers aren't even working. Let's see. Chapter 1. Where's Papa going with the axe? Said Fern to her mother as they were setting the table for breakfast. Out to the hog house, replied Miss Arable. Some pigs. Some pigs were born last night. Right, Wiggum? I don't see why he needs an axe, continued Fern, who was only 8. Well, said their mother, one of the pigs was a runt. Wiggum, you weren't a runt, were you? No? We're a runt. It's very small and weak and will never amount to anything, so your father has decided to do away with it. Do away with it? Asked Fern. You mean kill it just because it's smaller than the others? Miss Arable put a pitcher of cream on the table. Don't yell, Fern, she said. Your father is right. The pig would probably die anyway. Fern pushed a chair out of the way and ran outdoors. The grass was wet and the air smell of springtime. Fern's sneakers were stopping by the time she caught up with her father. First page, Wiggum. Look at the picture, Wiggum. Look at the picture, Wiggum. Don't kill it, she sobbed. It's unfair. Miss Arable stopped walking. Fern, he said gently, you have to learn to control yourself. Control yourself, yelled Fern. This is a matter of life and death. And you talk about controlling myself, right, Wiggum? You gotta control yourself once in a while, Wiggum. Just gonna push me around? What? What are you doing? Tears ran down her cheeks. You nibbled at my knees. Come on, buddy. Tears down her cheeks, and she stood to hold the axe and tried to pull it from her father's hand. I need that glove. Wiggum, it's cold out here. How do you do it? It's cold. Let's see, where were we? Fern, Miss Arable, know nothing about raising a litter of pigs than you do. A weakling makes trouble. Now run along. But it's unfair, Fern cried. The pig couldn't help being born small, could it? If I had been very small at birth, would you have killed me? You're nudging my knee. Mr. Arable smiled. Certainly not, he said, looking at it down in his daughter's glove. This is different. A little girl is one thing, but a runty pig is another. I see no difference, replied Fern, and hanging on the axe. This is most terrible case of injustice I have ever heard of. Where are we? Oh, a queer look over John Arable's face. He almost seemed already to cry himself. At night, he said, you're going to the back house and I will bring the runt when I come in. I'll let you start on a bottle like a baby. Then you see what trouble a pig can be. When Miss Arable turned around to the house for an hour later, he carried a carton under his arm. Fern was upstairs changing her sneakers, and the kitchen table was set for breakfast. And this room smelled of coffee, bacon, damp plaster, the wood smoke from the stove. Put it on her chair, said Miss Arable, and Arable set the carton down at Fern's face, and he walked. Next page. What? You just want some treats? To the sink and washed his hands and then dried them on a roller towel. Fern came slowly down the stairs. Her eyes were red from crying. As he approached her chair, the carton wobbled and then with a scratching noise. Fern looked at her father. Then she lifted her lid of the carton. There inside, looking up at her, was the newborn pig. It was a white one. Wiggum, you're not a white pig. You're a black pig. Let's see, where were we? A white one. The morning light shone through her eyes, turning them pink. He's yours, Miss Arable, saved from an untimely death. And with the good Lord, forgive me for this foolishness. Fern couldn't take her eyes off the pig. Oh, she whispered, look at him. He's absolutely perfect. Wiggum, you're perfect. Look at Wiggum, you're perfect. You're a perfect pig. Right, Wiggum? Wiggum? Come on. He's like, what's going on here? She closed the carton carefully. First she kissed her father and then kissed her mother. Then she opened the lid again, lifted the pig out, and held it against her cheek. At this very moment, her brother Avery came into the room. He was 10 and heavily armed, an air rifle in one hand and a wooden dagger in the other. What's that? He demanded. What's Fern got? She's got a guest for breakfast. Remember all those breakfasts we had, buddy? She's got a guest for breakfast, said Miss Arable. Wash your hands and feet, Avery. Let's see to it, said Avery, letting his gun down. You call that miserable thing a pig? That's a fine specimen of a pig. It's no bigger than a wine rat. Wash up and eat your breakfast, Avery, he said with his mother. The school bus will be along in half an hour. Can I have a pig too, Pop? Asked Avery. No, they only distribute pigs to early risers, to Mr. Arable. Fern was up at daylight trying to get rid of a world of injustice. As a result, now she has a pig. A small one, to be sure. But nonetheless a pig. It just shows what can happen if a person gets out of bed promptly. Let's eat. But Fern couldn't eat breakfast until her pig had a drink of milk. You want some milk, Wiggum? I got any milk around here? But Fern couldn't eat until her pig had a drink of milk. Miss Arable found a baby nursing bottle and a rubber nipple. She poured warm milk into a bottle. There's no Charlotte yet, Wiggum. Where's Charlotte? Fitted the nipple over the top and handed it. Fern, give him his breakfast, she said. A minute later, Fern was seated on the floor in the corner of the kitchen with her infant between her knees, teaching it to suck the bottle. The pig, although tiny, had a good appetite and caught on quickly. Wiggum, you have a big appetite, don't you? Yeah, you do. The school bus honked from the road. Run, commanded Miss Arable, taking the pig and Fern sipping a donut in her hand. Avery grabbed his gun and another donut. The children ran out of the road and climbed into the bus. Fern took no notice to the others in the bus. She just stared out the window, thinking how blissful world it was, how lucky she was to have entire charge of a pig. By the time the bus reached school, Fern named her pet, selecting the most beautiful name she could think of. Its name is Wiggum. Wiggum, 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 she whispered to herself. The perfect name for a pig, right, Wiggum? She was still thinking about the pig when the teacher said, Fern, what is the capital of Pennsylvania? Wiggum, replied Fern dreamingly. The pupils giggles, Fern blushed. We'll read you chapter 2 some other time, Wiggum, but we got one in, right? Are you happy?